All right. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know what I mean? Welcome to another episode of The Gift is Free. You know what I'm saying? It's part 6 of the podcast.
Part 6.
And got my man here, you know, the highly underrated.
About time on here.
About time.
About time.
Everybody give me a hard time about getting on here, man. I make sure everybody get on here.
Bro, I be saying your request on live. You never sent me, yo. I don't appreciate it.
Listen, yo. Then you look, I be on there doing my thing, trying to get the information off.
It's all good.
But that's neither here nor there. Ladies and gentlemen.
It's here right now.
As you can see, it gets off topic when we have to bring his name up. As it happens in the grand spectrum, which I'll get to later, y'all see. This is my man, Big Drew.
What's good, yo? What's good?
Hey, man, ain't too much, man. Appreciate you. As you can see, we doing social distancing right now. He's still getting this job done, though. What's going on, man? How you feeling?
I miss basketball, yo. Because to be honest, I wouldn't be home right now. I'll still be in season over in Japan. So, but certain situations happens around the world.
Right.
Family matters most. So, kind of also glad to be home at the same time, yo.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
You good? How you been, yo?
I'm surviving, man. I'm just out here trying to protect myself. I'm just surviving, you know. That's all. Just staying out the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, man. So, you know what I mean? We got that out the way. I just had to be courteous real quick.
That's fine.
You know what I mean? Because I always try to treat you with the most courteousness, even though, you know, we're going to get to that.
You might be getting started right now.
Yeah, we got to start right now, yo. I was trying not to. I was trying to keep it cool. All right, so listen, man. A lot of people don't know about my man, Big Drew, man. He's a D1 player, played overseas for years. I think he played overseas since he was able to get out of school. He'll be able to tell you more in a second, but Big Drew, let him know who you are and where you from real quick, man.
Originally from New York, Mount Vernon, New York.
The Vernon!
So all my father's side is up there in New York. Then me and my mom moved down here when I was like 10. Wasn't really into basketball that much growing up. Like, you know, I was on the team, but I was trash though. People probably still think I'm trash now, but you know, that's neither here or there.
Hold on, wait. We're gonna get there. We're gonna talk to them.
All right, okay. So,
but at the early age, did you start playing? So hold on.
I really didn't start playing basketball, like official basketball, till I was like 9.
Did you get down here? And that was down here in Maryland.
No, I was in New York.
Still in New York. Still in New York.
I was 9.
So how was? Hold on, because I don't want to go too fast.
Yeah.
You say you're born in you living in Mount Vernon. Did you stay? Is that where you were living at the whole time?
I was basically living in Mount Vernon and New Rochelle the entire time.
New Rochelle.
Yeah.
How was that, man? How much do you remember living in New York?
Little things here and there, to be honest with you. I mean, it's some unfortunate part of my life that happened in New York, and it's certain things that you just want to let go.
Right.
Especially, you know, as you get older, you tend to forget. You kind of forget where you come from at the same time, since I've been living in Baltimore my whole entire life. So when I do go around other people, I've noticed that I'm from Baltimore. I don't even think about the New York aspect of my life anymore.
Okay. So you migrate. Let's migrate to Maryland at this point, Baltimore, because that's where you kind of say you started playing basketball. And was basketball always your sport, or did you play any other sports?
That was always my sport.
That was mostly it?
That was it. Basketball was it, yo.
And were you tall? Like, were you always one of the taller kids, or were you kind of one of the kids that was...
I was majority fat.
Oh, fat kid. You was a young chubby kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know that everybody you thought, you see a big kid, oh, that's Baby Shaq.
Right. Okay. Right.
So everybody, that's Baby Shaq, because I was just big and fat at the same time. But
okay, so I just want to get, just so we got perspective, you said you moved did you move straight to Baltimore from New York?
Yeah.
Or that was just straight to Baltimore?
Straight line.
Okay. Then do you remember what how the transition was? Do you remember if you liked it when you first came, or?
My grandmother lived down here, so every summer we used to come down to Boston. She had lived out in Ellicott City and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So she had a little house out there in Ellicott City, and every summer I would just come down, you know, spend some time with her. And after every summer, I used to hate it going back up to New York.
Yeah.
I think I was more so attached to like my grandmother at the time than I was my mother.
Right.
So when it did come to that point where I was moving down here, it was kind of, you know, at first it was kind of weird, but it also became comfortable for me. So.
Okay. 9 years old, you say you remember picking up the basketball, getting on the team around 9, right? Correct?
Trash. Yeah.
What made you, I mean, you said you were trash, but what made you want to stick with it? Because obviously you stuck with it going forward, but what made you stick with it? Did you know you were trash back then, or were you just playing? Well, because, you know, like at that time, it's for fun.
It was for fun, but when you feel like you just a role player on the team, it's different.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really just whatever, to be honest. Like, once I felt like I was a role player, I just like, you know, just going through it, like just like whatever. Like I wasn't introduced to AAU at the time. This was like my elementary school basketball team playing at the YMCA every Sunday show. So it wasn't like we had like real practice at the school. Everybody thought it was for fun.
Right.
So, but when I moved down to Baltimore, it was different. It was just a different atmosphere. That's when I started getting into AAU basketball.
Right at 9.
I'll say like 10. 10, I started playing with Charm City Choice at the time.
Okay.
So that's when I first met. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. I played in the Old Court League. It was Old Court Middle. They had their own league, the Old Court League. So that's when I started playing with Charm City Choice. Then after that, that's when I started, you know, playing around. That's when I met DeJuan Spencer, Devin's father. Okay. So he was our AAU coach at the time. It was at that time we was still kind of like merged with Charm City Choice, but as we got older, that's when we started to become Carmelo's Choice at the same time. So that's when I started to met like Devin and, you know, all the other good basketball players.
Name them if you remember them.
Devin Spencer, LaShawn Edwards, Najee Hibbert, Sean Mosley, Brandon Green, Larry Bassfield, Dante Green, Mountain Delaney, Eric Brooks, Desmond Thomas.
Eric Brooks, my man.
Who else was on my team at that time?
Eric was nice too.
Sean Farr, Tavon Austin, Byron Westmore. I got Chad Sharp. Who else we had? We had a lot of good players. But I'm kind of fast forwarding because at the same time that Charm City Choice became Mount Royal at the same time that Mount Royal Team Mello.
Okay, so we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Slow down. You moving too fast.
No, slow down, bro.
So you were Charm City Choice. Now you met Devin and a host of a lot. At
that time, just me, Devin, Chaz, and the kid, my guy Tavon Austin.
Okay. So, who was somebody that you kind of looked up to, like that gave you the inspiration to play the game? Because, you know, as we coming up as a kid, you know, you're playing it for fun. So you half of your game is imagination. So you kind of playing off of like what you like and who you're motivated by. So who were some players, whether they were professional or whether they were a little older, who were some players that kind of made you lock in to play at a certain level or want to play basketball?
I mean, like, we all watch the NBA.
Right.
We all love NBA.
Yeah, players. We want them. I need them. But I need to know who you was rocking with as a youngin'. You know? If you can remember.
Man, I probably can't remember at that time, to be honest with you.
You were just playing for the love, for real.
To be honest, it wasn't even a basketball player. It was Coach DeJuan.
Right. He just made you want to.
He didn't give up on me. A lot of coaches gave up on me at the time, but he didn't give up on me. He actually stuck with me through everything, from picking me up to go to practice and making sure that I felt as though like I was loved and cared, and he cared about me. He wanted to see me as a good player, and that's what kind of motivated me to be the best player that I could be. And it wasn't even pro. It was more like guys like LaShawn Edwards, because at the time it was LaShawn Edwards, Najee Hibbert, Terrell Vincent, Isaiah Armwood. Those 4 guys were like the top players at the time.
Bro was nice.
So I personally felt like I wanted to get up to their level.
Right.
I knew it would take some time, but I knew that if I put in the amount of work, I could be at the same level as some guys.
And this is around 9, 10.
You can say that around 9, 10.
It's 10. You know what's so funny? Like I've had a few different interviews, and for everybody that's answered that question, it's always been a player. And you the first person to say it was a coach, and not even like a professional coach. It was like the coach that you had early. So definitely big shout out to Big Juan, for real. You know what I'm saying? That's my man. Love him to death. So, okay, you getting in the AAU basketball at this time around 9, 10. You say you're playing with Charm City Kings?
Choice.
Charm City Choice. All right, and you're in what? You say 9, 10. So you're middle school.
Middle school. Yeah.
So take me to, I want to kind of get a little bit ahead. Take me to about 8th grade, right before you get to high school.
We,
who are you playing AAU with
AAU
in 8th grade?
It was Najee Hibbert, LaShawn Edwards, Devin. I think Tavon was with us at that time.
And this is Melo's Choice?
This is Carmelo's Choice.
Carmelo's Choice at this time.
We were going up against Chick Webb. At the time, Chick Webb merged with Baltimore Stars. So at the same time, Baltimore Stars had, when they merged just to beat us. Just to beat me. Really was to beat LaShawn and Najee. I was just the role player for all this stuff.
Right.
So at that time, it was just, who was it? LaShawn, no, I'm sorry. On Chick Webb, it was Isaiah, Terrell, and I think Shelby was on that team also. I think Josh Shelby was also on that team because I think he was playing the Baltimore Stars at the time. So that was our 14 under championship game for state to go to nationals.
This is right, and again, just to get it in perspective a little bit, this is right before high school. This is the summer going into high school.
Summer going to high school. We were playing against them in the state championship, going to nationals. We ended up beating them. I don't remember how many points I had, but I probably wasn't a big factor in the game. I probably felt like I was just there to be there, to be honest.
But you remember the game?
I remember it because because we always came in second place in them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The years before, like 10, 11, 12, 13, those came second place to like Terrell and Isaiah and stuff. So that was the big key for us to like actually felt like get that monkey off our back and win the championship. Even though it took us forever to get there and 2 additional pieces, we got it done.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Okay, so you're kind of cognizant of the surroundings, and you named a lot of players, so I can see you remembered a lot of the surroundings of what you had going on. Who would you have considered at that time? Like you said, I know you said Rel and them, but out of all of those guys at that time, right before high school, before everybody kind of took the next step, who would you have considered as the cream of the crop going into high school that you was around?
LaShawn Edwards. I think he was, to be honest, he was a number one player in the country. They talking about that kid. I forgot the kid's name. What's the kid's name? I think it's Demetrius Walker. I don't know, but some kid was on Sports Illustrated going into the summer of our freshman year. Right after 14 under, no, right during 14 under the Nationals in Orlando, he was playing on the California team. Forgot the name, but they were saying that it's him and LaShawn Edwards. So LaShawn like number 2 in the country. So my personal opinion, LaShawn was number 1 in the country. We really legit had the best player in the country on our team at the time. Right. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy, yo. That's wow. Okay. So now you're going into high school. Yeah. Did you go to public or did you go to private?
Well, during that summer, at the end of that summer, I moved back to New York with my pops. So a lot of people didn't know that. I moved back to New York with my pops. I lived with him for like the first semester of high school, and I went to Rice High.
Oh my Lord!
Okay. Yeah. So I went to school at that time. Their senior year, they had Edgar Sosa and Curtis Kelly. Yeah. So I was a freshman class with like Kimball Walker, Durant Scott, and like a lot of the kids from the Gauchos. Like, of course, I was going up there. They didn't know I really know me. I was going up there, kid, some unknown kids going up there just to hoop. But just like the side story, Kimball Walker didn't really know who he was. Nobody knew who Kimball Walker was. At the same time, he was seeing the letters that Edgar Sosa and Durant Scott and Curtis Kelly was getting. He was getting no letters at all. So the fact that his story is so unique is because it took one summer, Tennessee Memorial Weekend, Nike Memorial Weekend in Tennessee. That's where he basically took off. He went 3-star to legit #1 point guard in the country. I fast forward a little bit, but like just to see his story from where he came from to right now, it's very unique and it's very beautiful at the same time that he was like a legit underdog out of all the guys.
My dog.
Did you and you got did you like I said, so like you said you were there for the first half of school.
Yeah, first half of school.
So I mean I would have guessed that you were doing at least workouts or some sort of practice.
I was actually the guy, I think, what was that coach? I think his name Mo Hicks or something like that. I think it was Mo Hicks. He invited me to come work out with the varsity players. I was still big. I was still trying to talk, but I was still a big chubby kid. So like, I was playing against the guys like Curtis Kelly like every other day in practice. So I was getting roasted, but
you were there.
I was there. And fast forward to Oklahoma, he transferred to Kansas State at the time. So my sophomore year at Kansas State, I was like, yo, do you remember who I am? He just like, oh shit, like, yo, what's good? How you been? Like, yo, I'm good, dog. Like, you know, it kind of made me feel good at the same time. Like, damn, I'm competing at the same level as Curtis Kelly right now. Yeah. Curtis Kelly's a good guy. We kind of we stay in contact here and there and stuff like that. He be doing little workouts on Instagram and shit, so I be commenting on that. But, you know, I've been trying to convince guys to come play in Japan because it's a good country to be in. But I'm fast forwarding too much. Let's take a week. Let's backtrack real quick. My bad.
All right, so, you're at Rice, and I heard you mention that before that you reclassed. Was it at this point?
Nah.
Or
I left Rice.
This play.
I left Rice because I wasn't feeling it anymore, so I just left. I wasn't feeling, you know, living with my pops. Used to live with my mom all the time.
Right.
That was kind of new for me, so I didn't like it. So I left. I went to Pikesville High.
You went to Pikesville? Oh, wow.
Pikesville High for
shout out to Devon Gilmore. Gotta say that real quick. Shout out to Devon Gilmore.
That's why. Pikesville High for like the second semester. Then the crazy thing is, I played, like they made the county playoffs. I actually played in the game. So that kind of fucked me up going forward, going into like I already had a late birthday. Yeah. So like, you know, in Baltimore, you only play a maximum of 4 years. I reclassified. I'll get to that a little bit. But I played basketball. I played a playoff game, which was considered 1 year. One game considered 1 year.
That's crazy.
In Baltimore.
That's crazy.
I mean, we ended up losing, but still, it was a good experience to be out there playing and shit like that.
Okay, so I was going to ask you this before, but I feel like it's way more appropriate to ask it now because you're at a level where you played a high school game back around the way. When did you feel like, okay, I've gotten better at this. Like, I know I can play on this level, this certain level. And did that happen between going to 10th grade and 11th grade, or was that your 10th grade year, you would say?
I say like my 10th grade year.
Okay, and was it AAU or was it?
It was AAU.
Yeah, and because I skipped a little bit too myself. Going into 10th grade, you maintained playing AAU in Baltimore, I'm guessing. Yeah. And did you wind up blossoming that summer?
Yeah.
And was that the summer right there?
I think I could say maybe it was that summer that I really just took off like that. But I kind of messed up the timeline a little bit because I was in the 9th grade still playing 14 under because I had a late birthday.
Yeah.
So I was in the class of 08, still playing against guys in the class of 09. So because of my late birthday, that's why I was still could play 14 under, even though I was already in the 9th grade, going into my 9th grade.
At that time?
Going into the 8th, yeah.
At that time, that was permissible, though, because it was...
No, my bad, I was going to the 10th, and a lot of guys going to the 9th, my bad.
Right, and that was what was called a grade exception back then. Yeah. So you was able to do that.
Yeah.
I caught a lot of losses behind that. But that's that has nothing to do with this. All right, so what was it? What was the point? Like I said, What was it? Was it a game? Was it a certain game? Because I know, like you said, you keep saying that you wasn't there yet, and this, that, and the third. I'm trying to find out what that point was. So I'm guessing it had to be here.
It had to be that 14 when I was playing 14 under while I was in high school. In the 9th grade year, that's when I was, kind of like figuring things out. Like, there's been certain games where I actually kind of dominated the game, even having LaShawn and Najee on my team. I actually kind of carried and held my own against some guys on the 80 circuit down in Nationals. Then going into that year, we all went to St. Francis at the time. We were going to, it was me, Najee, LaShawn, Vinny. We was all at St. Francis. We all, like, St. Francis would be our school. That's when St. Francis just got off of winning that BCL. That's when I started really noticing about Sean Mosley. So,
my goodness, I'm gonna ask you some questions about Sean in a second.
So after that, then I was playing varsity with them. Vinny and LaShawn ended up transferring to Towson Catholic during that time. They ended up transferring right at the start of the school year. They ended up transferring and stuff. But that was a year just being around Mosley and them guys at St. Francis, Sean Bradshaw, Sean Alexander, Eric Brooks, being around them guys and seeing how they played and how, like, this is their lives right now. Like, but I remember it was a morning workout. My aide coach, Bubs at the time, he told me, come down to St. Francis, come hoop. So when we went down there, it was basically like a little individual workout. I remember Syracuse, Marshall, Maryland, probably like 2 high D1 schools in there. They all was in there for Sean Mosley at the time. But at the same time, there was like a lot of scouts asked about me because I was, at the same time, like, I still didn't know how to really hoop like that, but I was still kind of more talented than the others.
Were you taller?
I was still I was like at least 6'6" at the time.
Okay, and you got a little bit of game.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're young.
Yeah.
So at this time, like, you're seeing all of this. What's going through your brain? Are you knowing what's going on and really taking it serious? Because I asked a lot of people this question, like, about college and shit, like, early.
Yeah.
And at the college, like, for the college selection point, like, did you start thinking about that at that point, or was it not until later? Or
it wasn't until later because I didn't like the interest that I had at the time.
Early. And what interest did you have early?
Ball State.
Ball State? That one that you remember, is that all, or do you remember?
But the one, I'm not going to lie, the one team that I did like, that was recruiting me early.
This 10th grade?
This is 10th grade.
Ninth? Was it 10th
grade?
Okay.
10th grade, Xavier.
10th grade.
Xavier. That's when Sean Miller was still there.
Yeah.
And still to we'll get down to that later. We'll get down to that later.
So then, I mean, that's cool though, because like I said, I'll be trying to figure out like where your mind is at this point, because a lot of youngins will catch this joint.
Yeah.
And they'll have to face these type of decisions when they in 9th and 10th grade, especially in this area. You know, it's a hotbed in this area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I want to know what was going through your mind at that time. I want to know.
I wanted the big schools at the time. I wanted like schools like the Syracuse and the Marylands of the world to come recruit me and stuff, or put me, just have me on the radar.
Yes, sir.
So at that time, I just wanted just to play basketball, really just prove myself to Baltimore. I felt like I was still below the radar. I was still under the shadow of like Isaiah, Terrell, LaShawn, and Najee at the time. So I just felt like I was still under their shadow, and I wanted to get out of that. So I just at that time, I just wanted to be better than them.
Facts. Okay, so you just said it just a second ago, but kind of talk about being at St. Francis and having to play with and around Sean Mosley at this time. Because just in case people don't know, if you was around the way and you played against Sean Mosley as a freshman or a sophomore or whatever point, people got to know that he was killing people around here, y'all. Like, for real.
I think at that, Sean, Sean was real.
Yeah.
And I think he solidified himself when he won that the BCL that year. Sean's still that guy now, but in high school he was just different, bro.
It was different, yo.
He was different. He was the only one out there that had mini fro.
Yes.
and
nobody can.
Nobody could stop him. He had the total package. He had the ability to attack, shooting. He had the whole package. So playing with a guy like Sean at that time, it was like you low key had to learn how to really take the back seat to everything. And which I had no problem having the back seat, because I didn't realize that I was still kind of stuck in my own ways, trying to prove a point that I was good. But when it gets like to high school basketball, you gotta really take the back seat to guys that like juniors and seniors trying to get on for at the time. I was a sophomore.
Yeah. Okay. And okay, so I want to go back to what we was just talking about, because I just want to talk about that for a quick second, because I remember him playing in Maryland State in basketball when he was out there. So 10th grade, you said you wound up coming into your own, and you start seeing that you got a little bit better, and you start carrying teams, and you know that had players with serious character. Like you had Najee. Najee was very acclaimed at this time. You know what I mean? Terrell was very acclaimed at this time. You're going into 11th grade.
Did you backtrack?
Huh?
No, I didn't.
You want to backtrack?
No, not backtrack.
But you want to?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you.
Oh, because we were going into 10th grade.
Because I was 10th grade. I was at St. Francis.
Yeah.
I ended up reclassifying. Then I transferred to Towson.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. Let me slow down a little bit. Okay, so you want to you want to reclass it at St. Francis.
I reclassified at Towson Catholic. I transferred from St. Francis to Towson Catholic.
10th grade.
Which is what was supposed to be your 10th grade year.
Yes, I did my 10th grade 2 times.
2 times, okay. You get to Towson Catholic. What made you go to Towson Catholic?
My mother wanted me to go there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to stay at St. Francis, but like they had a head coach that I wasn't really feeling like that, and I don't think he would change anytime soon. So I decided to leave, but the time I wanted to transfer, the coach I was at Towson Catholic ended up getting fired at the time. So that's when they brought in Josh Pratt at Towson Catholic.
Who wound up coaching at Chesapeake, who my man went to.
Oh, okay.
He coached at Spalding now with my man KP.
Shout out Josh Pratt. Shout out Josh Pratt.
So, okay, you get to Towson Catholic.
That's when.
And is that when it kind of got real?
Yeah, because at that time, that's when Dante came off being the #1 player at the Nike All-American camp.
And you were playing with him this year?
I was playing with Malcolm and Dante senior year.
That was an extraordinary pair.
This was your 10th grade year.
Yeah, my 10th grade year.
The reclassed 10th grade
year.
And you were playing with Dante and Malcolm and Devin.
Larry Bassfield. Devin was on that team. Devin was on JV at that time. So it was me, Malcolm, Dante, Brandon Green, Larry Bassfield, Vinny, LaShawn Edwards.
He's at Towson Catholic?
Right, yeah, because remember he said they had transferred the first week at St. Francis. Yep. They had transferred there already.
Okay.
Yeah. So all of us was there at that time. And that shit was wild.
So you knew you was going into a good situation.
I knew I was going to a great situation. And from a team standpoint, I knew that no team was going to beat us. Mm-hmm. My personal opinion. Mm-hmm. So, like in the record standpoint itself.
Okay.
We won the MIAA and we won the BCL.
Did you get yours?
Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. But like,
going through that,
just going through that and just seeing like guys like Malcolm and Dante, like you're gonna have to fall back. You're gonna have to just play your role and go from there.
So you're a sophomore technically.
So you're a sophomore technically, yeah. So this is yet again, you go from St. Francis and playing with Sean Mosley.
Yeah.
Then you go to Towson Catholic and you're playing with not 1 but 2 McDonald's All-Americans. You know what I'm saying? Should have been 2. Because they always hated on Malcolm.
I don't know why.
Because Malcolm he don't like people. Malcolm be
I don't think it's that.
Malcolm be carrying
I don't think he don't like that.
He just about his business. That's his real
He's
shit.
a fucking dog.
He's about his
dog
at all times. He's about his business.
That's what makes him the best.
I know that. I know that. I never. That's why I understand. I already be knowing that. Like I know it. You feel me? That's been since day one. He never changed that. You feel me? That's why I always respected it. But they always dissed him, even in later on in points with him. But to play with Sean and then to go to play with them and you in 10th grade year, you're kind of soaking this all in, but you're still getting better.
Yeah, of course, because I had no choice but to get better.
Right.
Because I had two players like Brandon Green and Dante pushing me every day. So like I didn't have a choice.
Right.
Like this is it or it's nothing.
You're not doing nothing at all. Yeah.
So like
shout out to Dante for coming on the show too.
Yes, sir.
Dante.
I actually talked to him a couple of days ago, dog. Because
Right.
remember, so Saturday we was playing cards and shit, and I posted that picture with the Japanese cards. And he's like, "Yo, you still in Japan?" I'm like, "Nah, bro. I've been home the past 3 weeks now. You know, I've been home, bro.
Home, man.
He just got home and shit like that. So I'm happy that man's home.
Yeah,
You know, he be with
happy
his
all y'all
family.
home.
Yeah, because shit's wicked now.
It gets wicked overseas, bro. We're gonna talk about that too later on. But all right, so 10th grade going into 11th grade summer, because summers are very important. Like in basketball, like and you're playing at certain levels and whatever, your summers are very important.
Almost more important than the season.
Yeah, it's almost more important than your high school season in a sense, especially in terms of rankings and political things.
Yeah.
So you're going into your 11th grade summer, or you're between 10th and 11th grade. You're going into that summer. Kind of talk about that AAU season and your development going into 11th grade.
I was playing. Who was I playing with at that time? I was playing 17 under with Sean Mosley, Brandon Green, and Larry Bassfield at that time.
And what AAU team is this?
Team Mello.
Team Mello.
Team Mello at that time. Yeah.
That's when they got established maybe that year or a couple years.
It's always been Melo's team. We just can't change the name.
Yeah.
It's always been. When we were Carmelo Choice, they went to Mount Royal. It was still Melo's team.
Melo's Choice, it was like white and burgundy. What colors?
We was like white and
burgundy.
burgundy.
Yeah, we played
burgundy. So yeah, I still got my Carmelo Choice.
Yeah, I was like white and burgundy.
So going into that year, it was 17 under, and I just started getting to AAU and stuff. But I didn't really like playing with B Green, Sean, LaShawn, and them. Really didn't like it that much because it wasn't really the team concept that I was used to. Like, when I was playing down, I was like the only, I was that guy on the team or going into being that guy on the team. So when it was 17 under, I played the backseat again.
Go back to playing backseat again.
Yeah, then, but then I had to realize, it's Brandon Green. This is their last summer. Brandon Green, LaShawn, not LaShawn, but Brandon Green, Sean Mosley, Larry. This is going into their last summer, so they need to do their thing. So I needed to take the backseat again. That person at the same time, it felt like I was second best player on the team. Why not just let me play? Why not just let me do my thing and just go? But shit happens.
But you want to maintain it.
I want to maintain it. But I ended up going back down to playing with Devin and them with 16 under. We ended up going to nationals. Ended up getting like second place in national 16 under. But at the same time, I got invited to the Nike Jamboree for like the top freshmen and top sophomores going into, the next year or whatever. So at the same time, it was still the Nike All-American camp. So I was at the Jamboree. They didn't really know me like that. So I was really just trying to get my name out there and shit like that.